And thanks for joining us here today at the Grosvenor Hotel. We've got today the two fighters who will be fighting for the WBO Middleweight Championship in Limerick in Ireland on the 19th of September. Which should be billed as the showdown at Thomond Park. Andy Lee to my right from Limerick in Ireland, he's the champion. And to my left, Billy Joe Saunders from Hatfield, he's the undefeated mandatory challenger. I've been promoting now for too many years that I want to think about, but in my time in boxing, this is for me one of the best fights that we're liable to have, and for numerous reasons. And it's not a hype job. I mean, it's genuinely. You've got two fighters here that, in my opinion, you've got the guy, Andy Lee, the champion, who's gone into his last 3 or 4 fights as the underdog. And each of those fights, he's absolutely pulled it out the bag and on the other guy's turf and done a brilliant job and won the title and obviously defended it again. Then you've got Billy Joe Saunders, who's done everything as a fighter. As a fighter, he's represented his country in the Olympics. He's won numerous amateur titles. He's won the British, Commonwealth and European title. He's undefeated, as I said. And you know, this just the styles make this a great fight. And more importantly, from their background, their community, where they come from, this is a bragging rights fight. And that's what's going to make it so special. I know that the pride involved in this, there's pride involved in all fights. I know the pride involved in this is going to make this a fight that's going to be a little bit special. And that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to it. And you know, Adam Booth's done a great job as the promoter in Ireland, along with ourselves. And you know, this for me is going to be something that's going to be, you know, a special night. And as a fan, I'm looking forward to it. And as being involved in the promotion, I'm delighted to be involved with it. Got everybody here at the table who you need to speak to about the fight. We've got far left Jimmy Tibbs, who has trained Bill from the beginning. We've got Bill next to him. Bill Ives, who's my partner and also chairman of Raymond Still, and he's a partner in Box Nation with us. Andy, and obviously Adam Booth. They're all going to have something to say in a moment, but this fight, I just want to keep emphasising, is one you cannot afford to miss if you're a boxing fan. You're going to get something that's going to be truly special. And I think that, I've got to say, I fancy my man to win it. I'm sure Andy and Adam will say differently, but for me, I think that, you know, styles make fights, and I think that Bill has the style to hopefully negate Andy's strengths and come away with that title and go on to remain undefeated and have yet another belt to his name. But I'm sure, as I say, Andy and Adam have got other plans and other things to say about that. Adam's here, I'm sure he's got something to say before you ask your questions of the fighters, so I'll leave it to him.
Other than you sticking me at the end of the table.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's a great matchup of styles, great matchup of wills, and a great matchup of pride as well. Like you just said, the story behind the two of them and the history behind Andy winning the championship is something special. And as a coach, my job every night is to obsess over Billy Joe Saunders. Every time I shut my eyes and I start seeing the fight and seeing his strengths, I'm constantly either dreaming or daydreaming about Billy Joe Saunders. It's the process I go through in the fight. Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
You're not under the covers dreaming about that,
Under the duvet you must go.
But keeping it professional. Every scenario I look at always ends up in an entertaining fight, and I start visualising the fight as a coach and end up watching it as a fan. And that's effectively what you got here. You got a fan's championship fight. Two southpaws that are going to make for a good matchup, because a lot of times two southpaws can make for bad fights. But again, I go back to everything that I see when I shut my eyes, and this makes for one hell of a fight. And it's going to be explosive. However long it lasts, it will be explosive. And I expect Andy to do the job that he's always shown me that he can do. And I'm really looking forward to this one. Just unfortunately, I've got to be a coach on the night, and the fans are going to be the ones that enjoy it.
Right, gentlemen, you've got any questions to ask, please feel free to do so.
Can I ask both fighters, is it a bragging rights fight, and will that be the main motivation of the fight, or will it be the title and the money and everything like it always is?
I think that, I think we're both in love with the game. I think it's about, who can come out. Well, for me, it's about walking away with that belt. I mean, it is, we're from the travelling community. It's a big, big fight. It's a history fight. I mean, he's the first traveller ever to win a world title. I'm the first one to win a British title outright. There's a lot of talk about this fight amongst our community, but I think this is not only for our community, but it's for the rest of the fans as well. And the belt's on the line here. What bigger do it get in boxing than being a world champion? So I personally think it's the fight that we're involved in that's going to be big, and the rights. Every fight you want to win for bragging rights. Just because we're two travellers, it don't mean that, yeah, this is the one we got, but it adds more spice to it. It's another ingredient added to the fight.
Andy, do you agree with that?
I would agree with it, and I would say that our upbringing and our background is probably a key ingredient why we've been both been so successful, because the pride that we will be bringing into this fight against each other is probably bringing to every fight, and we're very much men's men, and we can't let any man beat us, but both being travellers and both being from our backgrounds will mean more. We'll have to face, as long as the rest of us live, we'll have to face this fight in our own community. We'll be faced up with this fight, win or lose. Whoever wins will be hailed as a hero, and the loser will both good men, won't be shamed, but the loser will be known as the loser. And so there's a lot on the line for us both personally. But more so than that, in terms of general, this is the genuine middleweight championship fight, and he's no more contender, mandatory challenger. Had I not fought him, I would have been stripped, and so that brings legitimacy to this as a bigger event as well. So there's a few subplots, but the main thing is it's the middleweight title fight, and I've worked very long and hard to get here, and I don't intend to give it up by any means.
Can I ask you both, if you win the fight, would you like to go and defend this title for a bit longer, or look to unify pretty quickly? Can you answer first, Andy?
It's very important to me to defend my title and not just be a champion, a flash in the pan. To be a champion, a sustained champion, one who defends it multiple times. There's always talk of unifications, but right now it's me and Billy Joe, and that's somewhere down the line. I just want to look at defending my title on September 19th.
I think that, obviously if I walk away with that belt, that big door's open for me. Some big fights, and like Andy said there, I don't want to repeat it, but at the minute it's all about the 19th. Who's going to walk away with that belt, and I'm very confident.
Would it feel any different for you, Billy, fighting away from home in perhaps hostile territory? You've always been the house fighter.
Yeah, I mean, Andy's done it. He's been to America and whatnot else, so his experience is through your boxing career. You're going to have to do this, experience it, and there's no better way and no better feeling I can imagine than winning the title in someone's backyard. But I'll have plenty of fans over there myself as well.
And I think, the good thing about Ireland is, the Irish, Limerick, they like their fights, they like their fighters. It's not a hostile arena that Bill will be going into. Obviously the majority of support will be with Andy, and we all understand that. But they appreciate their fighters, they appreciate the boxing. So I think that, whoever wins this, and if Bill wins it, that he'll get a big cheer going out the ring. There's no doubt about that.
How difficult was it to put on, Frank, in such a big venue? Yeah.
Well, Adam should have been on the end, but he's on the end there. Adam's he's the lead promoter of this. I mean, we're doing it together. We were looking at West Ham. We were trying to get it on earlier, but Andy had an injury, so it got pushed back to September. And then we, had to make a decision whether to go to West Ham on the 5th of September or Ireland, but there was some financial problems to do it at West Ham, so that's why we're in Limerick. Otherwise, we would have pushed it back further. And at that stage, the WBO said that you fight, or we go either to the next available contender, or if Andy weren't available, then there'd be an interim fight. So that's where we are. you know, it's in Munster's ground, isn't it? Which is like the, you know, one of the top rugby clubs there. You know, they, as I say, they love their sport. You know, it's going to add to it. Being in that ground, the great atmosphere. I've actually been there and seen a rugby match at Munster in my days of when I was involved with Bedford. But it's a, you know, it'd just be a fabulous atmosphere there. I know it will be. It's going to be so electrically charged, and these guys are just going to be at the top of their game. And I think we're going to see, as I keep repeating, something a little bit special.
Andy, have you taken your belt to a Munster game and paraded in front of the fans? Can you talk to us about that and whether you've got support there from the rugby community as well?
Bloody Eddie Hearn out there,
I have. Yeah, at Christmas time I was invited along to a Munster match. They played Leinster, which were one of their main rivals, and I had a meal with the people from the stadium before, and at half time I was invited onto the pitch and sat with the players during the match, and I got a wonderful reception there, and it gives me, you know, a little taste of what will be on September 19th. And I was lucky enough to go back into the dressing room, which surprised Paul O'Connell, who is a legend in Limerick and in Ireland, invited me back to the dressing room, and they sing their song, which is the Munster anthem, and the opening lines are "Stand up and fight until you hit a bell," which I thought was quite fitting, and maybe I'll use that as my ring walk song. But as Frank said there, I'd just like to say we're both Olympians, we're both pure boxers in a sense. We have grade, we have a lot of history behind us, and we've fought at the highest level for a long time, both of us. And so if you're a boxing fan, if you're an amateur boxer or you're an amateur boxing club, this is the fight you should be taking your young fighters to see, because what we will put on is a display of boxing skill and speed and power. And like I said, there's a lot of pride, and he's going to have to do a lot to take this title from me, and I'm going to have to do a lot to beat him. And you'll see one of the best fights in